How's it going? My name's Andrew Muse. I'm a professional athlete and content creator, and somehow I've managed to build basically the life of my dreams. I get paid to travel and do the things that I love. Kind of want to talk about some of the things that may have shaped my who I am, my state of mind, all these things. And one of the major events was my father leaving at 8 years old and not seeing him or hearing from him for 20 years. I mean, complete radio silence until he reached out about a year ago. As a kid, that's super hard. You know, you deal with all these self-worth issues, like why am I not worth my father's time? Am I like not cool enough? And then you know figuring out how to be a man. Like, what do you do in confrontation? What do you do with girls? What do how do you make a living? Just having that sort of influence in your life is something I think a lot of kids struggle with. One morning at like 4:30 in the morning, I get a text. Hey, I miss you and your mother so much. I love you guys. I'm so sorry. And, there's really only one person that could be, and, pretty taken back by it. It's a text, and I kind of respond pretty blunt and just say, hey, like, who is this and what do you want? Kind of knowing who it was. And eventually I was like, hey, I'm assuming this is my father, and, what's up? And, up until then I had spent hours and hours and hours every year trying to search for my father. Does he have another family? Is he alive? Is he dead? Is he in jail? Like, I don't know. I just wanted some closure. He reached out and wanted to reconnect. He'd finally kind of reached a point in his life where, he'd been avoiding any sort of social media because he didn't want us to see him. He didn't want his friends to see him and all this other stuff. And, reached out and wanted to connect. I was actually heading back east. I was heading back to Massachusetts for my high school 10-year reunion. He was still in Massachusetts. So I contacted my younger sister and was like, hey, he reached out. What do you think? And she was like, I don't think he'll show. Like, as a kid, there was a lot of times we were standing at the curb waiting for him to pick us up for the weekend, and he just wouldn't show up. So eventually she was like, yeah, I'll come. Either way, we'll surprise my mom and we'll all be together for Thanksgiving. It'll be great. Anyway, so we arranged this meeting in sort of a neutral zone. My sister and I sat down beforehand and just basically organized a list of questions that we wanted to answer, from health issues to, what the hell happened? Where has he been, So we set up this meeting, and, we're early, we're nervous. He's an hour late, and Lindsay wasn't surprised. I was pretty disappointed, thinking like, if this were me, if these were my kids, like, I'm so motivated to someday be an incredible father. Like, I would have been there 2 hours beforehand, just waiting in the parking lot, like, getting my mind right. And this dude shows up 2 hours late. He's in tears, and this was business for me. Like, this first meeting, it was like, okay, like, hey, nice to meet you, have a seat, what's going on, what's the story here, like, not knowing what to expect. And he sat down and kind of explained his story and his life. And I have to give him props for reaching out after such a long time. That has to be terrifying, to think that that the potential being rejected by your kids and having us not wanting anything to do with them. But life's short, and to hold a grudge, there's the saying, like, holding a grudge is like drinking poison and expecting somebody else to die. However cheesy that might be, I think there's some truth to that. So we gave him the opportunity to explain himself and sit down, and we got to talk about ourselves a little bit. And it was good. It was he had a really sad story, and I felt bad for him, and he's made some really shitty mistakes in his life, and he's had some shitty circumstances come his way. But at the end of the day, there's no excuse for abandoning your children. People make mistakes, and I've wanted a father figure in my life, so gave him the opportunity. I'm in I'm still in Massachusetts for a few more days, and he get a message from me. He's like, hey, let's meet up again. Let's meet for lunch. I'm like, okay, like, let's start fresh, start from route one. This is the start of our relationship. All the other stuff that happened in the past is the past. We're going to move forward positively. And granted, the first thing I said to him when he showed up late to our first meeting was, don't be late. It was never be fucking late again. It was the first thing I said to him. So we have this lunch meeting. We're gonna meet for lunch and go for a hike, and we're gonna start our relationship from there. And I'm pretty excited about it. Pretty optimistic. And he's 2 hours late. He's 2 hours late to the second meeting, and I fucking lose it. I mean, just all these emotions as a kid, all these self-worth issues, all these, depression things, all these emotions that I just like, this wound was just fucking ripped open. This calloused scab I had over all these things was just gone, and I like lost it in the parking lot. And for whatever reason, I waited for him, and
I was pretty excited today to like have like a nice conversation without their like whatever the past was. We had a conversation, we hashed it out, and then today it was like, I don't know, feel, you say that you care about Lindsay and I all this much. It's like I want to believe you, but I just can't imagine caring about something half as much as you say you do and then not being on time.
Eventually I flew back to Park City, and we've stayed in contact over the phone, which has been pretty hard, honestly, at least initially. So we went a couple months talking, once or twice a week, and it was kind of like the same poor me, sad story of his life. And you know what? My life's great. It really is. I love my life, and it was a challenge to listen to it all the time and to hear all these like sad stories that just continued to happen to this guy.
If you really do want to maintain a relationship with Lindsay and I, that means you have to do some work on your life and not call us when things are just shitty. Like, if you want to, Lindsay was like, if he wants to call me and have like a nice conversation and see how my day was, that's fine. But if he wants to call me in tears, sorry about some shit, like, we don't want to hear it.
I'm not trying to make this sound like terrible, but it was stressful and it was hard. But over the last few weeks, he's actually started to make steps towards getting better, and our conversations have evolved from this sort of like 15-minute loop of material that he has to an actual progressive connection conversation where he's doing much better. And I'm optimistic moving forward that our relationship, has the opportunity to become something more positive and more beneficial to both of us. And the reason why I wanted to share this long, sad, potentially sad story is, parents out there who maybe haven't seen their kids or, haven't been the best parent or whatever, and have been afraid to reach back out to them, you should just do it. And I hope you can learn from the mistakes my father made and whatever, but, reach back out, show your kids that you care and you love them and, you're there for them or whatever. Just try to reconnect in that fear of rejection. I mean, you never know. Like, my father put our family through hell, put my mom through hell, my sister, myself, all of us. But at the end of the day, like, it's your family and it's a thing, and you wanna. It's just an important thing, and so hopefully, I hope to inspire parents out there who have been disconnected from their kids for whatever reason to reach back out and make that connection, or at least make that attempt. I mean, there was a visible weight lifted from my father's shoulders after he spoke to us. He could tell just had been dealing with this soul-crushing guilt for 20 years, and after reaching back out, you could tell he could breathe a little bit easier, and was making the steps towards healing. And to kids out there, I know there are people in the world that have had it way, way worse than I have, and I'm not trying to pull a poor me thing. I'm just trying to share my experience, but take these hardships and learn from them and grow and, feel the emotions. I'm not saying like be numb, but if something horrible happens, grieve and deal with that. But what can you learn from it? Can you turn this hardship or this experience, this challenge in your life into something positive? Can you come out stronger on the other side? As cheesy as it is, but these hardships are what define you, and that what make you who you are. And you can go one of two ways: you can learn from it, or you can say poor me and think the world owes you something. And as unfair as it is, the world doesn't owe you shit. That's never going to come back to you in a positive way. Just hoping, all you can do is work hard, think positive, and try and be a good person. And like, things will work out for you. I came from, a single mom who had her own issues and worked really hard for my sister and I. And I haven't had support from her since I was 17 years old. And now I live in Park City, Utah, and I've had this unbelievable life. And I base it all on the foundation of, trying to think as positive I can and working hard and trying to be a good person, help other people when I possibly can. And I hope this serves as a catalyst for some parents to reconnect with their kids, and then some kids or adults or whomever that have been struggling with these self-worth issues of not having a parent or a family member or a brother or sister in their life, or whatever it is, whatever hardship you're going through, to try and take a deep breath and look at it from a situation, where what can I learn from this? What can I learn from other people's mistakes, and how can I not repeat the cycle? And honestly, at this point in my life, I'm super thankful for all of the events through, my father not being there, the issues with my mom, to moving to Park City, learning from all these hardships as much as I can, to if those things hadn't happened, I wouldn't be here in living this incredible life that I've somehow managed to build. But I think a little bit of positive thinking and hard work can go a really, really long way. So I hope this finds you well. And, if it doesn't mean anything to you, I'm sorry I wasted your time. But thank you for watching. It's been nice to get this off of my shoulders. And I love you. Life's amazing. And good luck. Thanks.